Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So the Trump family may have known about the January 6th plan months in advance. The Select Committee has received evidence from documentary filmmaker Alex Holder, which may prove that Donald Trump Jr. and his fiancée, Kimberly Guilfoyle, already knew of the plan to disrupt the electoral count vote even before the 2020 election, which makes sense, especially in light of that audio, that leaked audio from Steve Bannon, in which he's telling everyone, telegraphing and laying out exactly what Trump was planning to do. So here's the deal and what they've discovered. Holder was granted access to the family on September 29th of 2020. That was the night of the first Trump-Biden debate, and evidently Holder was able to capture a lot of private conversations, and then there were phone calls in which Don Jr. and Eric Trump took part. And reporters say that these conversations included strategies regarding the 2020 election. On that same night, Steve Bannon was interviewed by the show called The Circus. And Bannon explained in that interview that he expected the election to be decided on January 6th or later. And regardless of the date, Bannon said it would be decided in the House of Representatives in a contingent election. So the committee is trying to link the conversations and the strategies together because they say that Bannon, and especially Don Jr., share some of the same advisors and acquaintances. And remember, Don Jr. communicated this fake elector scheme to Meadows. We saw those text messages. And then we found out that he got that idea from Bannon. But you know, what a strange thing to be discussing in September. The election was almost 2 months away. It hadn't happened yet. And they were already planning for a Trump defeat and strategizing about how to overturn the results. These people want to turn our country into Russia. They knew Trump was a loser. They knew he screwed up the pandemic response. They knew that the majority of the country hated him with a passion. And this proves that they never believed that the election was rigged or stolen. They already had that excuse in their back pocket. They were just waiting to lie. They were waiting to fill Trump supporters' heads with these fabrications and dupe them into believing that they were robbed of their votes. This also proves that they knew damn well that the votes weren't flipped by Dominion machines. They knew Trump was done. They probably had internal polling showing that he didn't have a prayer, right? And they probably didn't even share it with the toddler in chief because they didn't want to deal with one of his Trumper tantrums. And as I said in the beginning, this totally lines up with what Bannon was saying in that leaked audio. This was all plotted in advance. I truly believe this now. I thought initially that this was like a spur of the moment thing, that this was their go-to after Trump lost, but they knew he was going to lose. And they knew that they were going to try to overturn a legitimate election and steal the election themselves after the fact. So, as I said the other day, Bannon was in on it. Bannon was no different than if he knew someone was going to go rob a bank. And he not only said nothing, he took part in the robbery. Then he tried to help cover up that robbery and then lied to prosecutors, lied to investigators when they came to him asking about that robbery, and then said, no, I'm not going to say anymore. I refuse to speak about it. And then went out and told more lies to the public to cover up the robbery. So he is, based on this, if this is all true, he is guilty as sin. He needs to be in prison. All right, guys, I'll let you know when and if I hear more. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.